Welcome to Horror News Radio for February 6, 2024. Join us for horror movie news of the week. I messed that up again, Dave. Tarot gets a trailer, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman gets a reboot, and Evil Dead gets a spin-off feature. All this and more coming up next. I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this is H&M official Gruesome Magazine horror news podcast. Back with me again this week as the scariest, goriest, bloody co-host on the net, and that's Dave Dreher, lead news writer at Gruesome Magazine. How you doing, Dave?
Hello, Doc. I'm well. How are you today?
I'm doing good. A little tongue-tied for some reason at the beginning, even though,
well, we love it. That's one of the things we love about you most, Doc.
Just flub-o-matic here.
Flub-o-matic.
All right. Well, we have some news this week. It's interesting news, but I imagine next week is going to be insane because next week's after the Super Bowl, and expect tons of trailer news and upcoming news that week. But this week we have some interesting new films coming out, announced or being made or arriving. We also have a new trailer, and of course we have the news that we're starting off with. This is the kind of news I don't like, Dave, but why don't you go ahead and share the news with us?
Yeah, we always hate when we have to start newscasts off with an obituary, but Carl Weathers, at least for me, unexpectedly passed away. 76 years old. I didn't even know he was sick or anything was going on with him, but reported that he died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday, February 1st. Again, he was 76 years old. Of course, we all know him from Rocky and Rocky 2 and Rocky 3. Action Jackson. Of course, Predator was his kind of foray into a bit of a horror place. Recently, he's been in The Mandalorian, of course, kind of finding a new fan base amongst all the Star Wars geeks. Of course, Happy Gilmore is what was his name in Happy Gilmore? I can't remember. I just remember he had a fake hand because the alligator ate it.
He did, and I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember what it was, but of course, accolades pouring in from everywhere. Sylvester Stallone put up a rather touching tribute on Instagram, I believe. But yeah, he was one of those actors that just kind of always seemed to be in something you liked.
He always had a great presence. If you watch The Mandalorian, you really feel that presence. He really brought a lot to that role, and of course, you love him as in Rocky. I did get to meet him in person at a convention shortly after The Mandalorian came out, before they gave Baby Yoda's name as Grogu, and that was the question I asked him about Baby Yoda, and they said they don't call him Baby Yoda.
I think the reason it kind of came even more as a shock is because he's recently been on those commercials for the Super Bowl for that that Kick of Destiny thing. Yeah. So we've all kind of seen him in there, but it came as a shock. I was not expecting to hear his name in an obituary form. So rest in peace, Carl. We appreciate all the decades of entertainment you brought us.
And let's just go. I didn't show our pictures, but there he is doing a press thing for Mandalorian and looking very regal at the same time.
Very much so.
Of course, there's a shot from Predator. And I had a shot of that great handshake he does with Arnold, but it's just two arms. But it was iconic though, right?
Yes, it is.
And they're all sweaty and glossy, but yeah, that was a great that role.
Several iconic roles.
All right, up next. Are you a fan of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman? You remember this thing? It's been remade once, I think, but not very well.
It was remade once before. I love the poster. I've always loved the poster art. The movie itself I could give or take, but the poster art I thought was fantastic.
Well, yeah, it's a delicious B movie. I mean, it is about a B movie as a B movie can get. It is very much kind of schlocky in its genre, but the movie has a lot of fun. Well, anyway, the important news is that we have learned that Warner Brothers is planning on rebooting this, Dave. They're rebooting, of all films, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Now, who would you, sir, think they would select as the director of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman?
That'd be Woody Allen.
Wow, that would be a very interesting take. No, it's not Woody Allen. Thank you for that.
Damn it. I always get those wrong.
But it's Tim Burton. Tim Burton is set at the moment. Well, this is all deals in the making. This is kind of often the rumor thing, but he's currently attached.
There you go. I was going to say, I think the proper phrasing is currently attached
to a reboot Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, which I would never have paired them together, but now that they are, I am insanely curious on how that turns out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you remember it's already been remade once with Daryl Hannah playing the 50-Foot Woman, and I recently watched the trailer for that when this news broke, and actually the trailer for that remake kind of plays out like a Tim Burton movie. So you definitely should watch it. I definitely got Mars Attacks vibes from that trailer. But with that being said, Mars Attacks is one of my favorite Tim Burton movies that he's ever done. So I think if he does his normal Tim Burton things, this could be a ton of fun. It's all going to come down to who plays the woman, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Mars Attacks is a great film to bring up because that is probably also the closest film that's on par with what this film, would promise. You might be interested in this too, Dave. Gillian Flynn is writing it now. It might be Gillian, but I'm going to say Gillian. Is also described for Gone Girl.
Yes, I had read that somewhere, which is great. Gone Girl is a great movie in and of itself. So there's lots of little pieces when you put them all together make this very, very interesting.
Yep, absolutely. So there you go. More 50s sci-fi. Put it that way. Of course, a large 50-foot woman is like the kaiju you're looking for, right? So it's going to be in the horror if they like it or not. So I'm looking for. I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah, you're right. Depends on who they cast, and the sky's the limit.
I think didn't Charlie Band make like a Attack of the 50-Foot Bimbo or something? He had his own take on the whole 50-foot woman thing. So, but yeah, this is good because what's Tim Burton's got what Beetlejuice coming out, right?
Right, and second season of Wednesday.
No, so that's that's pretty heavy duty. If you could pull off an Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, that's a hell of a trifecta right there.
It's an interesting choice. Okay, so from one astounding, extraordinary director to another, this is a director you wouldn't think would ever do a horror film. What am I talking about, Dave?
Well, you're talking about Woody Allen. No,
stop with Woody Allen.
No, we're talking about Lee Daniels. Lee Daniels, of course, was the director of Precious. And correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, but did Precious not win the Academy Award? I believe it did. Just say yes.
Yes.
Just say yes.
I'm just
I believe
yes.
it did as well.
Yeah,
so yes, he's a very highfalutin director, and it's always newsworthy when a director of that caliber turns his attention to the horror genre, as he will in this movie entitled The Deliverance. Not only is Lee Daniels involved in this, but we got a cast that's amazing as well. Andra Day, Glenn Close, Monique, Omar Epps, Isaiah Washington. I mean, we got names. These are names, Doc. And it's going to tell the difference of Ebony Jackson, who is a struggling single mom. She moves her mother and children into a new home. And guess what, Doc? Strange occurrences start to happen.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Child Protective Services gets involved. They expect Ebony of child abuse. But actually, the occurrences revealed to be Demonic. What is demonic?
Dynamic. Oh no, not
Demonic. Ebony not only has to battle the system for her children, but she soon finds herself in a spiritual battle with a demon for her faith. Now, that's a bad day. When you got Child Protective Services on one side of the door and you got a demon on the other side, and you just go back to bed.
Nowhere to run. Nowhere to run.
Inspired by a true story, this says. So it sounds good. You know me and demon movies. I don't get along with demon movies too much. But again, this could be like a Silence of the Lamb kind of thing. This could be I hate saying artistic or elevated horror, but you know what I mean. This could be
it's an A picture, not a B picture.
Yeah. And this is coming to Netflix of all things, which is fantastic.
Yeah, Netflix purchased a picture, and it's been known that this film was coming out, but they have as of yet released when. Here recently on the 1st of February, they had a coming in 2024 trailer and kind of announced a gaggle of films, a tremendous amount of films. And in that announcement, with a screenshot or two, was this movie, Deliverance. And so we know it's coming out in 2024. They haven't put an exact date on it. October smells like the month it might be, but you never know.
It makes sense.
But yeah, this just looks like it's going to be, this has the potential to be like a very serious and frightening film with a lot of drama, a lot of tension, a lot of conflict.
Just remember, Doc, it's dynamic. So, you know.
Dominic.
Keep that in mind.
Nicky.
No, it does. It sounds good. I think this is one that we're going to be keeping a very close eye on and be watching with great anticipation.
Yep, and of course we'll review it when it comes out on Gruesome Magazine. Speaking of which, not only do we have Gruesome Magazine where we do reviews of streaming movies and theatrical movies each and every week, we also have Decades of Horror, which we have 3 versions of. One version does the classic era, which is up through the 60s. And then we have Decades of Horror of the 70s and Decades of Horror 80s. All of them can be found on Gruesome Magazine or here on YouTube. Check them out and let us know, what you think of those. And of course, if you like this podcast or those podcasts, hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. Easy, free to do, and each click helps us find more horror fans just like you. All right, up next in the news, this is, I kind of wish Christopher G. Moore was here because I imagine he is beside himself. It was announced today that the director, his first film, which is out now, I don't know if it's made to the States, but it's Infected or Vermins. Sebastian Vanacek has signed on to continue the Evil Dead franchise with a spin-off film, which that's all I need. That's all I need to know. The trailer for Infected or Vermins is very tense, very you could look at it and get the Evil Dead feel from it. So it looks like he's a good choice to do so. But just they say it's a spin-off film, but it was Evil Dead Rise a spin-off film. We didn't. This is the feller, Sebastian Vanacek, and of course Evil Dead Rise. Was Evil Dead Rise a spin-off or was that like another sequel? That's an interesting.
I would say it was Evil Dead adjacent.
So this one could be too, right? Because one thing they mentioned is that the book was different, right? That there's at least 3 books, so we're getting the next book, right?
Very, very possible. Yeah, they're certainly building their own little world. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, just in, Christopher G. Moore just texted and said this is the #1 film of 2025.
Yes. I am certainly yes. just put that in the books. Put that in the books now. Oh gosh,
he doesn't even need to see it. It's just automatically is.
What's your take, sir?
Uh, my take is not going to be one that most people want to hear. I'm kind of,
Yes.
I'm kind of done with the whole Evil Dead thing.
No
But
way.
but that doesn't mean it can't be a good movie. I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise, but I don't really consider it an Evil Dead movie. It was just it was a possession film, but it was good. It was a great possession film. I liked
Very
it.
gory. Very gory.
Yeah, very gory. I just rewatched it the other day because it's like on rotation on HBO, I believe, and pretty much anytime you turn on HBO, it's on one of their 8 channels. So, but it's a good, it's a great movie. But it just kind of seems to me now like they're just sticking Evil Dead in front of it, and it's an Evil Dead movie but there's nothing really connecting it to the original anymore.
So you caught on.
Again, like I'm not looking to poo-poo this. That's just my personal opinion, and no one really cares. So.
So you caught Evil Dead Rise on HBO Family, right? That's what you're trying to do.
Yes, right. HBO Kids. Yeah, so this will be interesting to see. I have not seen Infected, but I'm going to take your word for it that it looks super, super creepy.
The trailer does, and I'm hoping we get to see it and review it soon this year. So we did get an interesting trailer this past week. And it has some shenanigans with it, but it also has some promises. Dave, tell us about it.
Yes, this is Tarot. This was originally called, what would you say it was? Horoscope?
Horoscope.
Yes, Horoscope. They changed the name. I think it was a good change. This is coming to us from Sony Screen Gems. The trailer, I like the trailer a lot, actually. I told you pre-show, Doc, that I got kind of a 13 Ghosts vibe to this, because what we got is 12 tarot cards and then one that goes in the center, and each tarot card has a specific beastie on it. And, well, the synopsis: when a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. So face to face with fate means those damn cards come to life. That's what it means.
And the trailer confirms it. They're unfortunately, it looks like the trailer gives away some stuff. I'm hoping that they're all red herrings or something, but it kind of looks like it does. But
I enjoyed the trailer all the way up to the very, 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 very last frame.
You didn't like the last little jump scare?
No, the last little jump scare. But everything else, there's some really. It looks like the special effects people get to have some fun with these little creatures.
Yes.
So I liked it. I'm very intrigued by this one. This is going to be in cinemas on May 10th.
Yeah.
So I think it looks fun. I like it.
Looks like a lot of fun.
It stars Avantika. Who's Avantika? Is this somewhere where I show my my boomerism? I don't know who Avantika is.
I didn't recognize many of the people, but it does have one of the kid from the Spider-Man movies. He's, oh my gosh, he's the friend. He's Peter Parker's friend that knows he's.
Oh, would that be Jacob Batalon?
That's absolutely who it is. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And
I happen to be looking at the IMDb page.
that was the only face I recognized off the crowd.
Yeah, I don't know who Avantika is. I don't know if she's a singer or an actress. I apologize. I don't know. I'm sure right now there's a millennial going, "Why are we listening to this?"
I know. Somebody's like throwing eggs at us and tomatoes and potatoes. All right, I'm looking forward to it. You know me.
I am too.
All right, well, there you go. That's the news we have for this week. Let us know which film you're looking forward to the most. Is it Attack of the 50-Foot Woman with Tim Burton directing? Is it The Deliverance from Lee Daniels, Academy Award winning Lee Daniels, or nominated at the very least? Is it another Evil Dead spinoff film? Or is it Tarot coming in May 10th, 2024, which of course we will review here on Gruesome Magazine podcast. So I sign me up for all of them. I'm always optimistic until I see it.
Until you're not, right?
Yep.
That was a solid newscast. Other than having to report on Carl Weathers passing, everything else was good stuff.
Yep. And be sure to join us next week when we talk about any of the trailers that come out from the Super Bowl. I imagine you're going to be watching the Super Bowl, sir.
Oh yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. Hey, we didn't have this in the news, but did you see? I know I mentioned Charles Band earlier. Did you see where he came up with a new line of films? Did you see that? Yeah,
I knew the line was coming out. He just basically gave it a name, right?
Yeah. The article's posted up at gruesomemagazine.com. Go check it out. But he's got there's he just had bad CGI. What is up with me, Doc? I've got a bad case of Doc.
You've been hanging out with me too long.
Remember bad CGI gator?
Yep.
He's got bad CGI werewolf.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Which sounds great. But anyway, that wasn't in there. It just struck me as funny.
No, it's great. It's great. All right. Well, Dave, thank you for joining me. As always, this is a lot of fun. Let's say goodnight and get out of here.
Good night, everybody.